I want to start just with how you see the retail investor's role in this particular IPO and how it highlights, in some ways, a changed market.
Well, it's a breakthrough event, I think, for the retail investor who has allocated roughly 20% of the deal, which is triple a typical IPO. So it's great to see retail having a meaningful seat at the table. It created tremendous engagement with our clients and broadly with retail clients. Demand was off the charts, and that demand continues. We've seen in the 3 days following the IPO, nearly $7 billion of additional orders come from our clients alone. So lots of interest, a great breakthrough for the retail client having a seat at the table. It was great to see.
That was the CEO of Charles Schwab disclosing that Schwab alone, in the 3 days following the SpaceX IPO, saw an additional $7 billion of customer orders, purchases of SpaceX stock from retail investors. Absolutely enormous number. This is one brokerage in one country in 3 days.
There's a little bit of concern in some corners, albeit with skepticism, because you never want to bet against an entire crowd of people who are going in one direction. But Rick, there does seem like it's more kind of in vibes and support of the ideas of things rather than traditional valuations. Does that concern you, or does that frankly give you faith in the crowds, the wisdom of crowds, rather than Wall Street analysis?
What she's getting at here is the old retail investors are retarded, don't understand how to value companies, and any stock that performs in a way that traditional investors are puzzled to see must mean that it's simply a meme stock. That's the narrative she's bringing up here. Contrary to what many believe, there is no ministry of investing, no council of high priests that convenes to decree the rules of investing, the sacred principles of valuation, or the one true method for determining exactly what a company is worth. Yet, the vast majority of traditional investors cling to the collective delusion that such ordained authorities actually exist. They treat these invisible ministers as infallible, their methods flawless, and the rules as absolute. These self-appointed apostles of the valuation gods feel profoundly safe inside their faulty creed. If I follow the rules, nothing could possibly go wrong. This belief system gives them comforting certainty. It tells them precisely how to value any company and therefore exactly where and how to invest their money. And when their investments inevitably disappoint, it hands them a perfect excuse. They were simply following the rules. Any underperformance or missed opportunities, it's not their fault. After all, they obeyed the rules. These same rule followers, these obedient investors, contort themselves into pretzels, inventing ever more elaborate rationalizations for missed opportunities and underperformance, rather than accept the obvious. We saw this play out with Tesla. The better part of a decade, all of the traditional investors, the rule followers, companies massively overvalued, valuation makes no sense, retail investors are retarded. Round two, in my opinion, will be SpaceX. You can see it coming from a mile away. Over the next decade, the same rule followers who did not understand Tesla, didn't understand the company's valuation, just couldn't get their heads around it because it didn't fall within their framework. The rules will be saying the exact same things for the next 10 plus years about SpaceX. And while they're coping and rationalizing and explaining the collective retardation of retail investors who don't understand the rules, I suspect those same retarded, disobedient, rule-ignoring retail investors may outperform followers of the rules. I'm not here to tell you guys whether SpaceX is undervalued, overvalued, or fairly valued. Use your fucking brain and figure it out yourself. What I am here to tell you is there'll be an increasingly loud chorus of rule-following traditional investors shrieking about this company for the next 10, 15, 20 plus years, explaining why it is massively overvalued because it does not conform to the rules. Their cope will include frequent use of the term a meme stock. Retail investor will be used as a pejorative term. Those a little less emotionally stable and mentally healthy may even describe many investing in SpaceX stock as cult members, cultists, Elon D riders, and so on. Maybe we should check back in 10 years from now and see how the retarded retail investors are doing versus the rule-following traditional investors who are under the impression that SpaceX is massively overvalued, a meme stock, has no fundamentals, and is only being propped up by Elon cult members. Let's head over to the CNBS panel, see what they've got to say about SpaceX stock and SpaceX investors, keeping in mind and not specifically calling out these guys, but in general, historically, CNBS was happy to amplify many voices of the Tesla's massively overvalued crowd for the past decade. Most folks on the panel at CNBS over the last 10 plus years themselves were under the impression that Tesla's valuation made no sense. Many of them even actively shorting Tesla stock. If you know, you know. Any lessons learned? Let's find out.
Let's turn to our big story number 3, if you want to call it that. And that would be SpaceX, which is down again, coming off its first down day as a publicly traded company. Target today goes to 250 at Oppenheimer. I did an unofficial survey of our amazing production crew here. If anybody had bought SpaceX, I didn't see a single hand go up.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if I should be surprised or not, but there's got to be at least a dozen, if not 2 or 3 dozen people as part of the production crew there. Not a single person bought SpaceX stock. Interesting. I'm not really sure what to make of that. I mean, the SpaceX IPO has obviously been talk of the town. There wouldn't be a single member of the crew who wasn't aware of the company or the IPO, yet none of them bought any. A crew working day in, day out on a network whose sole topic of discussion is investing, finance, and the business world. Not one. That seems a little bit anomalous to me. I would have thought genuinely there would be at least a few. Interesting.
I'm wondering, how the retail investors should be viewing this after some big moves up and then now a couple days down.
There are 2 types of people who have been involved in SpaceX since it came public. Not pre, because that's a lot of tech investors, etc. Since it came public, you have people that believe in Elon Musk and believe in the story and really don't care if the stock is up or down 15% from where they initially purchased it.
Can confirm. Personally, I don't give a flying fuck if the stock's up or down 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 50% from where I purchased it. I only care about what I believe the long-term value of the company looks like. The dominant launch business, growth of Starlink, home broadband and cell service, the massive step change that will be enabled by Starship in both Starlink growth and then orbital data centers, the terrestrial AI business, the future orbital AI business, the actual AI products themselves. I don't give a fuck what the stock is. Personally, the lower the better, still buying. So fair call here. I am absolutely in this boat. No fucks given what the stock's doing over the short term. I just care about the company. I'm trying to build the biggest position I possibly can over the shortest reasonable time frame that I can.
I don't know how large that population is, but I'm assuming it's probably half to 2/3. It's the other group that you got to talk about here. That other group, they're not buying the stock. They're buying the potential returns of the stock. They want the sizzle, not the steak. The problem is the sizzle's gone. So those people look up and they say, well, I'm in this thing at 140, 150. I probably should have sold some at 215. 210, 205. Okay, you know what? This thing's over. I'll revisit it the next time it's rallying. Those are the sellers today. They're not actually investors. They bought.
Bro, shots fired. He's absolutely right. This is most of the audience of CNBS, by the way. Short-term traders trying to make a quick profit. Not buying the company. Don't have a valuation model. Don't even think about the future. Just what do I think this stock can do over the short term? I can't believe he said this on CNBS. He's absolutely right, though. He literally says they're not investors. And he's right. They're traders. They're short-term gamblers. Bro has absolutely nailed it.
The sizzle. They're not here for the steak. The dust will settle. The people who want the steak, I think, will buy this dip. I wouldn't get terribly afraid of it right here.
You have to wait, though, until you get closer or beyond the lockups?
Well, the lockups are going to start earlier than ever. So they're 5 weeks from the first tranche, 5 weeks from the first tick. We're not accustomed to that in this market. We haven't seen it before. They did it with Cerebras, and we haven't even seasoned that IPO yet to be able to make a judgment. And of course, Cerebras is not SpaceX.
Not to mention, it's going in the queues in like another 10 days, isn't it?
That's in the stock. Everybody knows that.
So that first tranche is somewhere in the second week of August. But it's important. You say that when the dust has settled, we have been observing how it's trading. It's important to understand the mechanics of how it's trading because this is a sentiment play. This is not a fundamental story in the near term.
Sentiment on what? Musk?
It's a sentiment
personality cult.
It's a personality play.
Well, what do you fucking know? We just heard the word cult. Personality cult. What was I saying about the cope? I never watch these clips ahead of time, so I never know what I'm going to get. I just like to react in real time, but I couldn't have planned this better. The same fucking day, the same video, the second clip. Bam. Personality cult. I've just asked Grok to clarify. Is the term personality cult pejorative? Does it suggest an irrational, ill-founded adoration Or can it describe a well-founded, entirely valid, earned adoration for somebody? Here's Grok's response. Yes, the term personality cult, or more commonly cult of personality, is pejorative. It is explicitly described as a pejorative term in educational and reference sources, and it carries a strong negative connotation due to its historical ties to authoritarian regimes, propaganda, and uncritical devotion. Standard definitions frame it as the deliberate creation of an idealized, heroic, or even godlike image of a leader through unquestioning flattery and praise, propaganda, mass media manipulation, staged spectacles, distortions, or falsifications of reality. Moving on, can it describe a well-founded, valid, earned adoration? No, not without stretching or importing negative implications. Legitimate, rational admiration based purely on verifiable achievements, merit, or character is typically called widespread popularity, hero worship, charismatic leadership, respect, a legacy, organic support. Using personality cult for that would be a misuse or misnomer, as the term inherently flags excess, artificiality, or pathology. In short, if the adoration is truly well-founded and rational, people simply don't call it a personality cult. That label signals criticism of something unhealthy or manipulative. Elon Musk has earned the respect, the praise, the adoration of people around the world. Talk to anyone who's ever worked for the guy. What do they think about him? The people who know Musk best. Never mind the nerds like myself who've been able to observe from afar over the last few decades what he's accomplished. The level of respect I have for Musk doesn't just extend to the engineering feats, the business achievements, of which there are many, but also the guy's courage. Willing to speak up and stand up when something needs to be said or done, regardless of the personal costs. So here's a quick update on this cult member's stock portfolio. As I record this, Tesla comprises 99% of my stock portfolio, literally, and SpaceX is exactly 1%. A hater, a coper, a follower of the rules might suggest that the only possible explanation for this extremely concentrated, ultra-high risk portfolio composition would be that poor little old me, just the retarded, easily manipulated, small-brain retail investor, has fallen prey, become a victim of the cult of Elon. This poor dipshit retail investor was somehow fooled, swindled, coerced by the cult of Elon all the way back in early 2016 into investing aggressively in Tesla, not because he saw any potential, no, but because Elon somehow tricked him into buying Tesla stock and continuing to do so for the next decade. This poor dimwit, who all the way back in 2015, 11 years ago, was on the record insinuating that he saw an enormous amount of long-term potential in SpaceX over the next 30 years, back in mid-2015, was only saying these things because he had fallen prey to the master manipulator, the cult leader of cult leaders, Elon Musk. If only we could help this poor victim. If only we could help him to see the light and to understand the rules. Thanks for watching. If you appreciate the content and want to support the channel, check out the links below where you can get early access to daily videos, unlock hundreds of exclusive pieces of content, and plenty more. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.